Two people wake up tomorrow with the same age, education, city, and salary. 10 years later, one owns assets while the other owns stress. One has freedom, the other has payments. From the outside, they look identical, but a single mindset shift has been compounding quietly, creating two completely different financial futures. This is two minds, same salary, one gets rich. And by the end, you'll see the invisible difference that determines which path you're on. The lie about income. Most people believe wealth starts with earning more. If I just made 6 figures? If I just got promoted? If I just had more opportunities? But here's what nobody tells you. Income does not create wealth. Thinking does. Two people can double their salary. One doubles their lifestyle. The other doubles their assets. Same raise, different result. And in a second, I'm going to show you the exact mental shift that makes that happen. But first, you need to understand the programming. The invisible programming. From the moment you were a child, phrases were installed in your mind. Money doesn't grow on trees. Rich people are greedy. Play it safe. Get a stable job. You didn't question them. You absorbed them, like software. And most people never update that software. So they earn more, but still think small. And here's where it gets dangerous. Because the poor mind and the rich mind can earn the same salary but ask completely different questions. Let me show you. Same salary, different questions. Two coworkers earn $75,000 per year. The first mind asks, how can I enjoy this? The second mind asks, how can I multiply this? The first sees money as relief. The second sees money as leverage. The first upgrades expenses. The second upgrades ownership. And in the next section, I'm going to break down the exact thought patterns that create this split. Because once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. But before we go deeper, if you're someone who wants to think differently about money and not just earn it, but actually build it, subscribe to the channel right now. Because we don't just talk about income here. We talk about leverage, ownership, and long-term wealth. Now let's continue. How the poor mind thinks. The poor mind is not about intelligence. It's about fear. It asks, what if I lose? What if it fails? What if people judge me? What if I'm not ready? It protects money. It hoards money. It spends money impulsively when stressed. And here's the paradox. When you are obsessed with not losing money, you guarantee you never build it. Because wealth requires movement. And what the rich mind does differently is not obvious at first, but it's powerful. How the rich mind thinks. Rich mind asks better questions. How can this dollar produce another? How can I build once and get paid repeatedly? How can I own instead of rent my life? It doesn't chase money. It chases leverage. Leverage means do something once, get paid multiple times. Build a system, let it scale, and in a moment, I'll give you a simple test that reveals instantly which mind you're operating from. But first, we need to talk about compounding, because this is where the gap explodes. The compounding split. Both people get paid Friday. Person 1 celebrates, new clothes, better dinners, small upgrades that feel rich. Person 2 pauses. Allocates first, invests first, builds first. One feels rich for a weekend. The other builds wealth for decades. Now here's the test I promised, the $4 test. You see a $4 coffee. Poor mind says, it's only $4. Rich mind says, that's $1,460 per year. But it doesn't stop there. Rich mind thinks, what does $1,460 invested for 30 years become? It's not about coffee. It's about compounding awareness. And this is just the beginning, because the real difference shows up in habits, not purchases. The habit gap: poor minds consume more than they create, scroll more than they study, blame more than they build, delay more than they act. Rich minds read daily, invest consistently, solve problems early, take ownership. And here's something most people don't realize. This gap isn't dramatic at first. It's boring. It's invisible. But over 10 years, it becomes massive. And in the next section, I'll show you the rule that separates people who think like employees from people who think like owners. But quickly, if you're getting value from this so far, subscribe right now. Most people watch content like this and never act on it. Be different. Now let's move into ownership. The ownership shift. Poor mind sells time. Rich mind buys time. Poor mind works for money. Rich mind makes money work. Poor mind says, I don't earn enough. Rich mind says, how do I increase my value? And here's where it gets uncomfortable. Because the world does not pay you for effort. It pays you for value. And value can scale. Effort cannot. Which brings us to the next rule, the 72-hour rule. Poor mind researches forever. Rich mind tests quickly. Poor mind says, I need to think about it. Rich mind says, I'll try it this week. Action builds clarity. Delay builds fear. And this is where two people earning the same salary slowly drift apart. One builds systems. The other builds excuses. And here's the final layer most people ignore. Identity before income. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. If you think like a spender, money flows out. If you think like an investor, money flows in. If you resent wealth, you repel it. If you study wealth, you attract it. Two minds, same salary. One upgrades identity. The other upgrades lifestyle. After 20 years, they don't recognize each other's lives. The final question, open loop close. So now we return to the beginning. Two people, same job, same paycheck, same opportunities. One builds freedom, the other builds obligations. The only difference? The questions they asked themselves every single day. And here's the real question. If nothing changes in your thinking right now, where will you be in 10 years? Because the paycheck is not the problem. The programming is. And you can upgrade it starting today. If this video shifted something in the way you see money, subscribe to the channel. We don't teach you how to earn more just to spend more. We teach you how to think differently so your money starts working harder than you do. Two minds, same salary, only one gets rich. The decision is yours.